All right, I just hit record.
Wait a second. Let me grab coffee.
Good morning,
Hey, Jenna. How you doing?
Your hair looks so long today.
Oh, I think you know what? I'm loving this angle today because I'm a
I'm loving
little
it too for
farther.
you. It looks so long and fabulous. And I just saw you and it didn't look like that.
I got to tell you, being farther from the camera works wonders, and I feel happy about it.
We are all good. Oh, all right. Today is a fun one. We teased this, I think, on our last episode, but we're going to talk about Cannes. We're going to talk about
Yeah.
Cannes Lions. And actually, this is
Wait.
going to be a two-parter.
Hold on. Quick discrepancy. Can or con?
I say Cannes. I'm all in on Cannes.
You're like, I'm just American.
I'm just American. I'm going to go with it. But this is a two-parter because our next episode, we actually have a guest who was there. So maybe she will correct us.
Yes.
We'll
And
see
I
what she
can't
says.
wait for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's perfect. We'll corroborate.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see what she says. We'll have a little debate on that. But yes, so for those who don't know, and I feel like most people in our industry know this, but so Cannes Lions is basically like, I don't know, the Super Bowl of awards, the Oscars,
Yep. Yep.
Oscars of the advertising and PR industry. It is a massive award show, industry conference, who's who, swanky event. Like,
Yep.
it's all the things.
Yeah.
It takes place every June in France. And I was doing a little bit of research because we've grown up with this. This has just become part of the ether of our work stream every June. We've had a lot of clients submit for it. A good amount of clients win various awards there. So it's not foreign to us, but I realized before we started talking about this that I actually had never gone back to really figure out like when it started or how it became so notable within the industry.
Yeah.
So I did a little homework. And let me pull this up. So it actually started in 1954. It was an international advertising film festival, and the first one was actually held in Venice. I thought that was really cool. So the Lion Trophy that is so synonymous with this event was inspired by the lion of the Piazza San Marco.
Beautiful.
In Venice, which I thought was really interesting. And then it permanently moved to France in 1984. So it's been there for quite a while now. But it started in the ad space, which makes sense. Honestly, even when I started my career and started, learning about it or submitting clients for it, I feel like it was still more of an advertising thing.
Yeah.
I didn't research, when they officially started switching some of their categories, but now at this point, it is not just traditional advertisements. It is the PR space. It's consumer engagement. It's got social. It's kind of all of the different creative work streams that you think about and a look at the best of the best work in all of those different streams. It's also really well known on the CPG side, and you see a lot of CPG brands clean up every year and take home some big awards. But it's also something a lot of tech brands are there and they do really well. Healthcare brands are really, doing a great job there. And then you also see more purpose-driven campaigns that are being honored there. So it is diverse in that aspect as well.
Yeah, and it's going to continue to evolve, I'm sure, with the dawn of AI and not really the dawn, the the crest or whatever you want to call it. I do think what is kind of interesting as well about the founding of the festival is that it was created by the cinema screen advertising contractors because they were a bit envious that Cannes had a film festival that was an international to do. And when you think about it, films won't get an audience unless there's advertising around it. It's the same for products as well. So, driving that force of like, hey, we're here too for creativity and to actually get people to care about your thing is kind of a fun part of the history there. So yeah, it is it was an exciting couple of weeks in Cannes, it seems like. And today we're going to talk about a few campaigns that rose to the top, some maybe more obvious than others. I will say I saw out in the wild maybe 3 of the 4 we're going to talk about today, Jenna,
Yeah.
which is always good.
I was going to say, actually, so we actually spoke about some of the campaigns
Yeah,
that were big
we
winners
did.
there. We had spoken about them in previous episodes, having nothing to do with Can. My gosh, you got me saying it.
Ooh, I incepted you.
This is going to be our data conversation all over again.
Totally.
Uh-oh. So that was cool. I mean, I think the only thing I would add, jumping off of a lot of the conversations we've had in the last year, content remains king for brands. It has been that way for many years now. And the almost the cinematic excellence of the content you see coming out of brands now, it's so engaging. I mean, I think back and I don't know, I don't think this was a winner because it was probably developed too late in terms of entries, but I think about the Adidas piece that we talked about for the
Right.
World Cup
For the World
and how
Cup.
I was so enamored with that and wanted to watch it and
Sure.
wanted more. I mean, I can almost guarantee that's going to be up next year.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but these pieces of content that you see brands creating are their art. I mean, they're creative art and they deserve their moment in the spotlight. So this is a really
Absolutely.
cool festival. It's also laden with, meetings on yachts and who's got the
Yeah.
best attire and sunglasses and all of that. So you
And
kind of got to peel
that's
all
what we
that
get to
back.
dig into on the next pod. Yes.
I was gonna say,
With our
you kind
insider.
of got to peel all that back to get to the true creative. But also anyone in that industry, including us, also kind of loves some of that stuff. So great. Like that's fun too.
Yep. The fashion, you got to look great
Yeah.
and con. Yep,
Yes.
for sure.
Some inspiration. All right. So today is going to just be kind of a look at some of our favorite winners.
Well, I'm going to start it off with Adidas. Might as well. Adidas times Oasis, and I mean the pop rock band from the UK. So Liam and Noel Gallagher went back on the road in summer of 2025. An Oasis reunion tour 30 years later. It was all the rage in Chicago and the circles we run in. Lots of friends eager for the tickets or where they could go and see one of these reunion shows. And it was called the Original Forever Oasis brand partnership, where Adidas came in a really natural way to partner with the band on a merch line. But also they were able to call very throwback footage from 30 years ago when the fandom was at its prime, when Oasis was just dominating the charts. And the band itself was always wearing Adidas too. So it was like
Yeah.
completely natural. The fandom was wearing Adidas. It was just like a very natural thing and a natural pairing that goes beyond just brand partnership. Again, when it's that genuine. So they made a hero video, an anthem, so to speak. Jenna, you were just saying the cinematography, the cinematic beauty of campaigns in Cannes is a huge, huge thing. So this was about a little over a 1-minute video that kind of showcased, these sort of blurry, beautiful images and old footage of the fandom getting ready for the concert and the excitement of seeing one of their favorite bands perform on stage, clad in Adidas, very naturally, again, kind of crowd surfing. And it was this ethereal Set to Live Forever, which is a fantastic song by Oasis, one of the top. And, one that you like to sing out loud. And it is camaraderie, whether or not you're in the car alone or with a group of friends singing the song, you happen to know all the words. So these fans are crowd surfing and then they get to the front where Oasis is. And it's just like this meeting and it's beautiful. So anthem video to launch the campaign and then a merch line of some 30 pieces that were
Yeah.
Oasis and Adidas branded.
It was a
think
big
this was
merch line. Yeah.
big merch line. And there was some stat where in the UK, like one piece was selling every second. I think they had like an over 80% sell through on the merch. And then just gangbusters on the earned media with a partnership like that. So tapping into nostalgia, which we know has been big for quite a while now, a couple years now in the cultural ether, but again, in a really genuine way. With a band that's very much iconic and was the musical news of 2025. So they won the biggest award in the entertainment category because of that partnership with Oasis.
Hmm.
Super cool
Yeah, I
stuff.
loved that one. I felt like that was just, to your point, it was really organic and people just clamored to get that merch because it didn't feel like you were getting concert merch. It just felt like you were getting something that you would wear anyway, but then it had that great connection as well.
A piece of the band, right? Like quite
Yeah.
literally a piece of the band. Yeah.
Yeah. So another one that won big, I was going to say this might actually be my favorite. So we've talked about Kraft Heinz a few times,
Hmm.
and they've had some really cool, innovative campaigns in the last year or so. The one that won really big for Kraft Heinz was the Look Familiar campaign. So Heinz has been around for, I think, 150 years. And if you look back at their logo on the front of their bottle, even though they've shifted their logo around, over the years, they've always had this image that looks like a fry container, a French fry container.
Right.
And so it was just such an obvious campaign, but they created it in a global way. And it was basically they went and got, the fry containers from all around the world and showed that it just went naturally with their bottle. They had digital ads, they had print advertising, they had, content of like videos and all and such. And they
Lots
just
of
did
out
a
of home.
huge, yeah, they did a huge global campaign about the fact that French fries go not with any ketchup, but with Kraft Heinz. And they connected that and they drew like a little white line around every single fry thing. That was their big creative, right? Is like the white line of their logo that looked like the fry container was around all these other fry containers. And you could see that they were almost identical. And it went insane. They had billions with a
Yeah.
B
Yeah.
of earned media impressions.
33 countries of market penetration, which I think riffing on the visual identity piece too, it's like it transcends language. It transcends language barriers, right? It's like French fry box is pretty consistent across the world.
Yes.
Plus the Heinz ketchup logo. It's a very easy get. And you know how I love simplicity, Jenna. This one
But
was
that's
simple.
that's what it was. It was so simple. The other thing that I think is really key about any campaign like this, and specifically for these winners, is sales lift. They're not just showing impressions and awareness. They're showing a true sales lift from it, which I think is really strong. I mean, that's the marker of a good piece of creative is it is actually driving people to go out and purchase and use the product.
And I think Fun is doing, they're putting more effort into understanding the efficacy of the campaign. I mean, it's always a huge piece of the entry, right? But to be able to correlate that to sales lift is the icing on the cake that will get you the Grand Prix.
Yeah. Yes. So that was a really amazing one. The other one that was a big winner, and Emma, I'll let you talk to this, was one that we actually spent a good amount of one of our episodes talking about,
Yeah.
which
Well,
was
this
the
is
Kit
one we
Kat
loved in
heist.
the wild. Yeah, we loved it in the
Yes.
wild. The Kit Kat heist, the timing was so interesting. It was like right around April Fool's Day, pre-Easter, which is a big time for chocolate brands. And Nestle just did a really phenomenal job of being natural and kind of riffing on something that could have been a catastrophe with 400 tons of chocolate being stolen on its
Yeah.
way from one place in Europe to another.
Uh-huh.
And instead of just kind of doing the internal crisis route and the holding statement to the public and consumers and whatnot, they flipped it on its head and kind of made something funny about it. So reminder, they did the tracker online for consumers to see if their Kit Kat, the barcode on their Kit Kat was one of the stolen lot.
Yes.
So it got worldwide massive interest in what happened to these Kit Kats. And it is kind of earned gold when other brands jumped in on it as well.
Mhm.
So I know some airlines, I believe it was Ryanair, got in on it. Domino's was an early adopter as well, kind of saying like, we're really sorry what happened to you. But in unrelated news, can't wait for the world to see our new Kit Kat pizza. So, I mean, when when you are able to generate brand interaction and that kind of organic gangbusters conversation to be trending like that, it's
Yeah.
really you have something special. And again, it was a crisis comms moment for them. However, they turned it into a global campaign,
Campaign.
and
Yeah.
the nimbleness and the agility. Yeah.
I was going to say, I think the quote that I found to be most fun and most telling was the India State Police Forces
Yes.
put out a comment and said this wouldn't have happened on their watch because they don't take breaks, which is
Right.
just so fun, so playful, obviously plays off of the brand identity of Kit Kat,
Yes.
right? And I think that's the big thing is this was so successful in such a fast way in large part because Kit Kat had spent decades establishing a consistent brand identity, distinctive assets that people were used to. Talk about simplicity, and we talk about the Heinz fries, right? And Kit Kat's the same. The same. I mean, people know what a Kit Kat looks like around the world. Things can change slightly, but they have such strong, distinctive assets and that catchphrase
Yeah.
that it was something they could easily, quickly flip into a solid campaign. And I was reading something about one of their executives basically saying, now they're trying to look at without the heist happening because, that's a one in a million, hopefully doesn't happen to them again. But
Right. Right.
without that, how do they enact something like this again that can take off? And that is the magic that we're all looking for.
Mm, yeah, the magic of 360 marketing for sure. Yeah, I know. And they could even sustain it too. I think one last point on the campaign itself. After the fact, when they were transporting Kit Kats in Canada, they did like a convoy with security vehicles.
Yes.
Which also got pickup because it was like,
Yes.
okay, it's like you're toting around the president. But really it's just your Kit Kats. Also important, but especially in my household.
Exactly. Um, I know, side note on Kit Kats, but a cousin of mine went to Japan and he was so, so
Right?
sweet. And he sent my children little like gift packages. And within the gift packages, there were a couple different Kit Kats for each of the kids. And they were all different flavors I've
Yeah.
never seen. Like cheesecake, and there was like a fruity one. They're all different
Yes.
types of flavors that my kids were, I think, too nervous to try. But Brian and I got in on sampling them because they weren't going after them. So that was fun.
Oh, I love that. I love it. I love
Yeah,
a flavor innovation. Well, and we
exactly.
have one more amazing one to talk about in the kind of CSR sustainment space and purpose driven, Jenna, that I know you want to tee up, but this was pretty amazing for several reasons.
Yeah, this one was fun. I was really excited when I stumbled across this. So Kenya took home its first ever Grand Prix award, which in and of itself is really awesome and special. For a campaign called it was Two Goods, paid sick leave for cows. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, I have to, what
Yeah.
is this? What in the world is this?
Double click, Jenna, into this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes. And the video that I watched, it was really, really awesome. It was about the fact that, when cows become sick and need to go on antibiotics, they have various chemicals and hormones in their system. And their milk really should be dumped. I want to say it was like for 3 to 5 days or something,
Yeah.
and not used, not put in the market. But this is the livelihood of farmers, right? This is that drastically impacts what they can produce and put out and their livelihood. And there was no real way around it. And so
Because
sometimes you
every
work,
day is income. Every
right.
day of milk production. Yeah.
And so sometimes you were seeing that this milk that had the hormones from the antibiotics and all of that was then put out in the market. And that's harmful to the people who are drinking it. And so they were really kind of looking for a solution. And the solution was to essentially be able to give the livestock, the species, paid sick leave. So if they were ill, then their milk did not need to
Yeah.
be used in production, but there was a payment there so that the farmers weren't losing wages. Um, so it was a really cool, creative campaign. They actually put change into market, right? And created this paid sick leave so that prices weren't going to soar because consumers couldn't take that hit, right? Consumers couldn't take this like insane rising of costs of milk just because of this problem, but you also don't want to be giving consumers tainted milk.
And a simple insight, humans get paid sick leave, so why not the cows?
Right. It was an innovation that was so obvious,
Yeah.
but I'm sure took years of back end, research and government conversations and all of that to get it to where it got to. And it was really nice that then the creative got that payoff of winning the award so that this was then more visible to the world of all this hard work that was done.
Yeah.
Um, it was really cool. And as I said at the beginning, CPG clean up at Cannes. They really do. But this was a nice example of somebody kind of outside of that space getting some of that love and being able to tell such an important story.
Yeah, so much fun stuff. And I'm really, really looking forward to our Monday guest to dig deeper with us on what it was like on the ground, all the little insider knowledge about her key takeaways and things she learned. So it'll be fun to extend this conversation. It's worth 2 pods for sure.
Yes. So, last question here. What's our impact been this week?
Yeah, so we are excited about a new partnership that we're building with the fall campaign that's initiating very, very soon in August, in fact. And we were able to meet with the full integrated agency team, the IAT, and that was such a great time to meet the new personalities. It seems like a bang up team that really know their channels. And I just think the partnership is a phenomenal way to get this new client off the ground. And it's just always great to be exposed to new agencies. It's a couple that we've never worked with before in all of our time, Jenna, in this industry. So I know we're all really looking forward to that.
Yeah. And I would say particularly relevant to the conversation we're having because something we didn't quite touch on, but these winners and these massive campaigns that are receiving this recognition, they're not born of one team or one agency, especially when you look at these bigger companies like a Kraft Heinz, like Nestle's Kit Kat. There are many teams that put hours and hours and hours of effort into making this success, from the ad agencies to the media
Yes.
buying agencies to the social agencies to the PR agencies. And having a really strong integrated agency team is truly the only way to achieve such success. So it is really impactful when you are brought into a new IAT and you can immediately feel that everyone has a strong sense of their lane, but also a strong sense of collaboration, which is really what's needed to bring it together and strike gold for our clients. So I was personally really excited to chat with that team, very excited to work with them, and I think we're going to do a lot of great work for the client together. So.
Yeah, couldn't agree more, Jenna.
All right,
More
my
to
friend.
come
Well,
next week.
yes, we'll chat early next week with our special guest, talk a little bit more about this, have a little con versus can debate, and go from there.
I already changed you though, so there you go. All right.
Oh.
Have a good one.
All right. Thanks, Bye.
Bye.